Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. This is my latest update. This is week number 3. This is week number 3. So, here's the progress so far. Let's switch over to tab. So, here's the situation. So, this is like my sign up page. It's very small, not looking very good, but it's functional and it works. So, like, if you switch between like sign up and sign in, like the things are different. And, I have a user account that I set up in a database, and then boom, now I'm in my app. So it's great. So basically, the main lesson that I've learned for this week is when you start, you actually should be trying to put in the database right away. So originally, the way that I structured this project was I basically started on the app, built the sidebar, made all these like different pages, and then I was basically trying to do something like write some stuff here, record the transaction, and then it comes out here. So I was using this thing in React called like state management, I think. And basically, you are trying to put it on the page, but it disappears if you refresh the page. And the reason I was trying to do this initially was I just thought it was like a quicker and easier way to get started. So I build out all the basic functionality and then I integrate the database. But then I realized, from what I found, like it seemed state management like seemed to be an absolute nightmare, and I just couldn't click. It didn't click for me, like how you're actually supposed to do this. So I basically just went like the database route, and like life is just so much easier because yeah, you literally just put stuff in a table and then you pull from the table. That's it. And so if I want income transactions to be here, they can show up here. If I want them in home, they can come up in home. If I want the expenses transactions to also come up in home, I can do that too. So I haven't built that yet, but in concept, like literally just fetch from the one table in the database that has the stuff. So yeah, that's the basic idea. I think a second thing was I actually realized that you can do like different uh, different layouts, uh, different page layouts. So the way that I originally had it, so if I go to my app, so the way that I originally had it was I basically just had this. Where is this component? Isn't it? Where did it go? Okay, so basically, what I originally had before was I explicitly had in like the app file the sidebar. So no matter what screen I have, so if it was the home page, the income page, or if I had the authentication page for user sign in, I used to have the sidebar on the left of the screen. And then what I basically figured out is that instead of explicitly putting all of the parts here, what you could actually do is that you can make different layout pages. So in the layouts pages, so in the app layout, so the main thing I had was basically like the sidebar, and then there was the individual page that you could have. So if you had something like the income page, like this would be all of the relevant things for the income page. Something like, let's say there's like add transaction button. So if you go to the income page, if we sign in again, so if you go to this income page, there's this add transaction button, which you see over here. And then, so I could add all of the things that I would want to add in this income page. But something I would want consistent throughout all the pages is the sidebar. So basically, I just want it to stick regardless of what page is here, but except for the authentication page, I don't want this here. So then this is when you get to the idea of this like app layout concept, where I can put it specifically for the app layout, but it does not exist for the authentication layout. And this is like one of the cool things that I learned, and how like you can structure an app. So now I'm not like constrained to put the sidebar in the home page, the income page, expense page, debt page, and so on. I can just make it in the layout in the layout concept, and then put the sidebar there because I want it on all of the pages. And now you could basically just group different pages based on the type of layout that you want to have. So it makes it much easier to build apps, and you don't have to put stuff in every single page. So that's nice. And the third lesson was the way that I originally started building this app was I was trying to build like the app. I was trying to build the app first, then the authentication, so the sign in, and then I was going to go build the general website for it. What I realized is that I actually should have done it the other way. So website, sign up page, and then the app, because it is much easier to go in that direction. So if I went to app first, I'm learning all of the stuff completely from scratch, and I have no context, and there's no buildup of difficulty. So basically, if I start from zero and I go build the app first, it's like the hardest thing that I could do, based on these general projects. But if I was building something like a website, basically all I would have is say I had like a one page website, and I could literally have the landing page, like basically some text and some images, and literally that would be it. So like not very difficult from a building perspective. And then you have the authentication page, which requires you to add like an input. So an input here, an input there, and then you figure out how to connect to a database. So now you did a second step that was a little bit more difficult, because there were more things you needed to learn, but like not super hard. And then once you're done, then you could go build the app, because you have learned some basic concepts. And when you put stuff on a page, it's not like crazy to you. And now you've already introduced yourself to the database, so you don't have to do this state management thing that I was trying to do earlier before, which took more time, which took me more time to build than if I just used the database. That's kind of the thing that I know now. So basically, if you're just starting off, you basically want to build like website first, website first, sign up second, and then the actual app third, because you're just going in the order of easiest to hardest. So you maintain a sense of progress over time, and you build your skills. And then the fourth thing, what was the fourth thing? Oh, yes, the fourth thing. So what I've come to realize that when building, it's probably best to build out one full page, but make it look, good. So take an example of something like my authentication page. This page does not look very wonderful, but say I had say I had like a quick AI like build for what that would look like, and I would just replicate, because it seems to be like the AI designs are like reasonable. Like they're not terrible, and like they're reasonable enough to actually use. So if I literally just copied like this type of format, like my form would look pretty reasonable. Like you wouldn't really like bat an eye. Like you wouldn't say this is bad. This is just a regular sign up page. This looks terrible. So if I was showing this to somebody, this is not a very presentable thing. So even though I technically finished the authentication page, like it doesn't look very good. And the same way with like the home, it's like doesn't look complete. The income page doesn't look complete. Not complete. So you see all this stuff and it's like not complete. So I technically like built a like version 0.01 for each of these pages, but that actually doesn't have much value. It's actually better that if you just had this and yeah, and you basically made something like this that's good. So you don't have to go insane on the UI or the user interface, but you just do something basic that doesn't look terrible. So then you see this and you're like, yeah, it is complete. Like I don't actually need, if I actually built this, then I don't need to think about this for a while until I build out my full app with everything else. Then I might need to reconsider the user interface to make it better and more interesting. So yeah, those are my lessons for this week, and I'll hope to see you next week. Bye.